How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out some weird grocery store items in the Netherlands. Now, the original video is by the channel Uncharted. I've done some reactions to their channel before. You should go check it out. There will be a link in the description section down below, so you can go check that out. They are an American couple that moved to the Netherlands. I don't know how long ago. I've only seen a handful of their videos, but they're always good, so go check them out. Anyways, it's a couple that's living in the Netherlands, and they make videos and stuff on the differences that they've seen, between that country and our country and whatnot. So, yeah, 10 weird things in Dutch supermarkets.
When you step foot into a grocery store in the Netherlands, it might seem normal at first with rows of colorful fruits and vegetables and neatly stacked shelves. But if you look closely, there are quite a bit of unique and unexpected things inside. So in today's video, we're going to take you on a fascinating journey through the top 10 most weird and distinctive things in a Dutch grocery store.
Yay!
Goedemorgen and welcome back. Today, we're counting down the top 10 weirdest things that you might find in a Dutch grocery store.
Why is the audio out of sync on this video? Is it their fault or is it my fault?
Starting with one that caused us a lot of stress when we moved here. Number 10. This one's been mentioned in our other grocery store video, but here in the Netherlands and in a lot of...
I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page and see if that fixes that. Sometimes it'll fix the audio out of sync issues. I don't know what's the real problem behind it, necessarily.
When you step foot into a grocery store in the Netherlands, it might seem normal at first with rows of colorful fruits and vegetables and neatly stacked shelves. But if you look closely, there are quite a bit of unique and unexpected things inside. So in today's video, we're going to take you on a fascinating journey through the top 10 most weird and distinctive things in a Dutch grocery store.
It doesn't seem to have fixed the audio sync, so it may be something they did when they did the editing. I don't know.
Goedemorgen and welcome back. Today, we're counting down the top 10 weirdest things that you might find in a Dutch grocery store. Starting with one that caused us a lot of stress when we moved here. Number 10. This one's been mentioned in our other grocery store video, but here in the Netherlands and in a lot of other countries here in Europe, you have to pass through security gates both when you go in and then when you leave the grocery store. But the catch is, to exit, you'll need to have your receipt to actually get the gates to open. So be sure to...
Okay, I was wondering about that because a lot of times you scan your items yourself, so that would prevent people from shoplifting if you just lock them in.
Remember that when you're checking out at the grocery store. Also, you might be presented with a confusing and stressful situation if you went to the store but didn't actually end up buying anything, but fret not, there's probably an employee of the grocery store nearby. The reason for these gates is obviously to...
Yeah, what if you don't... There's a ton of times where we go to the store and it's like, okay, we don't find what we're looking for, or we're decided like, okay, well, we're just going to go to a different store that has it cheaper maybe. Yeah, how do you get out? Do you have to... so you have to bug somebody every time, and you're like, all right, guys, this is embarrassing, but I didn't buy anything. I was just looking, and now I'm locked in your store. Can you unlock and let me out? That would suck.
Prevent theft. They don't open from the inside, which is why you need to have a receipt or you need to ask an employee when you're leaving the store if you didn't buy anything. Okay, now let's...
So don't go into the Netherlands, into a grocery store, unless you plan on buying something, guys.
Let's talk about why those sugary drinks might be costing you a lot more than you think.
Number 9. If you find yourself purchasing bottles of juice, soda, or water, you might notice that they're a little bit more expensive than you might expect. And that's because there's an additional 15-cent tax added to each item. This is called
15 cents ain't much. At least you guys have most of your stuff included. Like when we buy something, we have, like, every state's different, but like in the state of Indiana, it's 7% sales tax. So if you buy something for $1, it'll actually cost you $1.07, So that kind of, you have to keep an eye out on what you're buying so you can, factor in the tax. Most of Europe, that's all included, evidently, except for this 15-cent thing, but that's not a big deal.
Statiegeld. This is to discourage the use of plastics and also encourage recycling. But the good thing is you can keep those empty bottles and return them to the store and get your 15 cents back. And a lot of people actually do this. And when you're in the grocery store, you might notice people walking around with huge bags full of bottles. And that's probably what they're doing.
They're getting their 15 cents.
Hell yeah. If you're familiar with the cereal aisle in an American grocery store, then you can easily visualize this next one.
I am all too familiar with the cereal aisle. Cereal is one of the best food groups, guys. Come on now.
Number 8. Aside from cheese, the Dutch are also pretty well known for their love of potatoes, whether it's in a Stamp Pot or it's
art apple.
And you'll see that reflected in the grocery store aisles as well. You can get nearly any shape of potato pre-cut in the grocery store.
Can you get hexagons? Guys, can you get hexagon-shaped pre-cut potatoes? I'm just wondering.
And they have tons of pre-seasoned potatoes too, along with mashed and gratin, all fresh in the refrigerated section. And this is a stark contrast to grocery stores in the United States, where 90% of the potatoes that you're going to find are actually in the frozen section. Oh, and if you're looking for the whole kind of potato, they have those too. Now let's
My son just woke up.
talk about something you don't see much of in grocery stores here.
Number 7. Tampons without applicators are way more popular in the Netherlands than they are in the US, and that's probably because they're less expensive and better for the environment.
And you're cutting down on that plastic because you don't need the plastic applicator tip. I don't know much about tampons. Obviously, I don't use them. But I'm aware of the product existing and the basis on how it works.
But if it's not something you're used to, you might walk into a grocery store looking for tampons with applicators and they're nowhere to be found. In fact, a lot of the pharmacy and self-care items can be found at the grocery store, they just have a very limited selection of them. So if you're looking for something specific like tampons with applicators, you're going to want to visit a drugstore like Atos or Kruidvat and you're going to find it there. Okay, if you've ever wanted to make fresh juice in the middle of a grocery store,
there's sap.
You're going to love this next one.
Grocery stores in the Netherlands have an orange juice machine. Yep, you can make your own orange juice fresh.
Nice.
And right in the middle of most grocery stores here. I'm actually not sure that orange juice is more popular here than anywhere else. Like when we go to Japan, everyone drinks orange juice there.
All the time.
But there's a fresh orange juice machine in most of the supermarkets that we've been to here. And besides orange juice, there's still a bunch of other fruit juices. They're either in the aisles or they're in the refrigerated section like you would expect.
Now, that is weird that every grocery, like, why an orange juice processing machine? Like, we don't have that here. Like, you can go in, sometimes you can, like, freshly grind your own coffee beans and stuff like that. But, yeah, that's not something that you see around here. And for it to be that common in most of the stores over there is very interesting, especially considering oranges don't even grow in Europe like that, I don't think. I mean, maybe Southern Europe, Spain and stuff like that, possibly, but...
We've actually never used this machine, and I actually don't think I've ever seen anyone use the machine when we're at the supermarket.
Then you guys should do a video where you go in and use the orange juice machine, right?
So if you're one of the people that use this fresh orange juice machine, let us know in the comments. And I guess also let us know, is it that much better than the orange juice that you would buy from the refrigerated section? It probably is.
Yeah,
it's fresh.
Well, why don't you guys find out yourself? Guys, look, go to the original video, spam their comment section, tell them that CharlieVest told you to tell them that they need to make a video on this orange juice machine. They knew who I am. They've messaged me before. I did a reaction on their channel before, actually. We talked on, I don't know if it was Discord or Instagram, actually. I don't know which one I talked to, if it was the guy or the girl, but I talked to one of them before. But yeah, tell them to make that video. That would be cool.
It's got to be. They're squeezing that orange right there.
Anyway, let us know in the comments. All right. Now let's talk about a Dutch delicacy for those on the go.
Number 5. Another Dutch food staple is herring.
I was getting ready to ask, and I was trying to pause it before she said it. I was going to ask, is this fish related? Because I hear delicacy. I don't know why. It just made me feel like this was a fish related item, and it is herring. They love their salted herring. Or smoked
a raw herring that goes through a pickling process and is typically served alongside some raw onions.
I just ate this in our GeoGuessr video.
And usually you'll find these stands outside of
I don't know why, but I just smelled it. When he just took that big fish and just slapped it into his mouth, I smelled it. I don't know why, but that fresh fish smell, I don't know.
Train stations or maybe inside of the weekend markets, and it's not just a tourist thing. A lot of locals really enjoy herring. Did you know that? But I was kind of shocked that you could find the herring inside of the grocery store because it's actually like in the fish section, packaged and served with the raw onions inside of it.
Yeah, so you could take it on the train with you.
Oh my God. I don't think I would ever.
That has got to be a stinky train. If everybody's just sitting around eating herring and onions on the train all day, ugh.
Ever have a hankering for herring that was strong enough where I'm like inside of Albert Heijn, I'm like, I gotta get this now.
But if you do, it's there for you.
Yeah, he tried it and was actually said it was okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you guys have a hankering for some herring and you just cannot wait, you go there and it's ready to go. You can just slap that right in your mouth on the go and just eat that fish.
If you're looking to spice up your next sandwich, this might be just the thing you're looking for.
Number 4.
What is this one?
When we moved to the Netherlands, we were fully prepared to be introduced to a bunch of new cheese products that we weren't familiar with, like maybe some sort of cheese spread or some sort of new flavor of cream cheese. But this is one I'm still not sure I fully understand, and that's all of these flavored spreads. Upon further investigation, it seems like they're all just types of egg salads, so you can have like a farmer-style egg salad or a chicken.
I love egg salad, though. Like, that stuff is great. I might make some later today, actually.
Mango egg salad or even a hot wing egg salad. But this section of the grocery store is actually pretty big, and so much, in fact, that most of the local grocery brands here have their own house brands for this stuff. And they also make vegan versions of the most popular flavors. We are really curious about this stuff. It seems like it's really popular here, so we are going to try it in our next video. Pray for us. Everyone here is going to be like, what are they talking about? We eat this stuff all the time. It's not weird, but...
Have you ever had egg salad before?
Yes, in Japan.
Oh, right.
In our 7-Eleven video that no one watched.
I make some good egg salad, guys. I'm telling you what.
And next, here's a good tip for you if you're looking for not fresh vegetables in the grocery store.
Number 3.
You want rotten vegetables?
In the US, when we weren't buying fresh vegetables, we would usually buy frozen or canned vegetables. And coming to the Netherlands, we quickly realized that there are very few canned vegetables here, and most of them actually come in jars.
What? That's all you see here is canned vegetables. Like, yeah, you know, you got fresh vegetables and you got frozen vegetables and stuff like that. But like 90% of the time, it's canned vegetables. That's what people, it's cheaper, you know. Fresh vegetables do cost more, so a lot of people go for the canned, even if the fresh tastes better. The canned has a distinct taste. It's an acquired taste. Like green beans, I prefer green beans out of a can than the fresh green beans. It's just I'm used to the taste. But that's interesting that you don't have a lot of canned food over there. Canned vegetables.
After a few quick Google searches, I really couldn't find a reason for this. I mean, they look quite nice because you can see what's inside the jar.
I guess with it being in a jar, though, it's not much different, but it just seems like, I don't know, I guess it's just different, right? Different culture, different processing and manufacturing facilities, and just different ways of doing things separately and independently from other parts of the world. And then obviously, you know, that's how cultures are formed and stuff, and everybody does their own thing. So it's just different than what I'm used to. But it is nice to be able to look through the glass and see the actual food, though.
And another thing that I really love about this is you can actually just use the jar afterwards for things like salad dressing or pasta sauces at home.
Recycling, guys. Recycling. It's good for the environment.
And we have a ton of these inside of our cabinet right now.
People are going to watch this one and be like, yeah, okay, so canned vegetables are just in jars. That's really number 3 on their list.
Yeah, I mean, it is because like also there's a, hang on. I will say though,
cut us some slack.
The jar things, like it kind of makes it seem like fancy, don't you think?
It is
like,
fancy.
It looks really nice and it's glass and like honestly.
That's what I'm thinking. Like it looks super fancy, but you got to be careful with it though.
In the US, they phased out a ton of glass stuff in the grocery store and it's all shoved into plastic. So I don't know. It seems fancy.
That is true. It's all plastic. And when you do see something in actual glass, it's usually like a higher end brand. So like to see everything in glass like that, it's like, wow, what kind of a high end store am I in? This is all fancy.
This next one might be why your grocery bill is so high.
Number 2.
My grocery bill is so high because I live in America and there's a thing called inflation and capitalism and consumerism and just a bunch of stuff.
In the Netherlands, organic and non-organic produce are found in the same section. So this means when you're in the vegetable section, you're going to see 2 cucumbers, 2 celeries, and so on. Now, if you're in a rush,
this depends on the store because in America, there is stores like that. And you got to be careful because organic costs like twice as much. So if you're not trying to spend the extra money, you have to be careful that you're grabbing the right thing. But then there are other stores where everything is separate and you have the organic / vegan / whatever section that's different than your standard vegetables. But I would say the majority of them are separate, but you do have some combined though. You do have that.
Might be a little confusing because you just run in, you just grab a vegetable, and it might end up being the organic one, which you'd have to pay more for.
Yeah, I definitely have purchased like a €3 cucumber before by accident. It tasted the same.
The reason for this is probably just to better use the space in a grocery store, since the grocery stores here tend to be on the smaller side. All that said, be sure to just make sure when you're buying fruits and vegetables at the grocery store that you're buying the one that you came in to buy and not.
Yeah, basically just pay attention to what you're doing and you'll be all right.
Either one that isn't organic or one that is more expensive than what you're expecting. This is number 2. Michelle wrote this.
Do you want to write the list?
And finally, the weirdest thing about a Dutch grocery store.
That's funny. Like they're skeptical of their own video, like as they're producing it. That's awesome. I love the humor.
Number 1.
You have to pay in euros. It's so weird.
You have to pay in euros.
They won't take my US dollars.
They won't take our US dollars.
That's so strange.
So
Number 1. Now, imagine this. You're on your way home from work and you need to stop by the grocery store. And it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. And you walk in, you walk up to the bakery section, and it looks like this.
Oh, no. The toilet paper aisle after COVID.
This is actually quite common because grocery stores in the Netherlands have their bread either baked in store or sent from a factory that same day. And due to the lack of preservatives, they don't really just like sit in the back of the grocery store, so there's not a surplus stock. So many times in the evening, you'll be left with next to nothing or just the really unpopular bread types.
Yeah, but
learn how to make your own bread and you won't have that problem, or just go to the grocery store earlier in the day.
Look at the bright side. You get to figure out what the unpopular bread types are here in the Netherlands.
This is actually how I found all of the breads that are my least favorite.
Yeah, and our favorites.
That is true.
Nice.
You're like, oh, well, I mean, if everyone's eating this first, then I guess we should be too.
So to avoid...
There's a video idea for you guys. The bread varieties in the Netherlands and what is people's favorites.
Avoid this, many people grocery shop in the mornings or the afternoons, or if they see their favorite kind of bread, they'll actually just buy a bunch of it and then they'll throw it in the freezer and thaw it out as needed.
And that's it. That's the official Buncharted list of the weird or quirky things that we've run into here at the grocery stores in the Netherlands. We want to know, what are some things that are normal at your grocery store that you actually haven't seen anywhere else? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.
And we'll see you.
You know, I want to know that too. What is the weird, quirky, unusual, or just straight odd in your grocery store? What makes your grocery store different than everybody else's, right? So again, that was a pretty cool video. Go to Buncharted channel. Tell them to make that video about that orange juice. Tell them that I sent you and all that good stuff. You guys have a super fun, awesome day. I'll catch you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.